ma lei non guarda nessuno. Ha imparato dalle tempeste più di quanto dica mai. Ogni cicatrice nascosta l'ha resa più forte di ieri. Non cerca approvazione, non ne ha bisogno. La donna che sorride con gli occhi pieni di luce, la donna che sorride sa chi è davvero. E quando passa lascia nell'aria qualcosa che non si dimentica. Ha lasciato porte chiuse e promesse consumate per trovare la sua strada senza chiedere il permesso. C'è una forza silenziosa dietro quel sorriso calmo, come il mare quando sembra troppo tranquillo per parlare. Non deve dimostrare niente a nessuno. La donna che sorride con gli occhi pieni di luce, la donna che sorride sa chi è davvero. E quando passa lascia nell'aria.
All right, quick audio test, getting ready to turn on and live stream, starting the live stream shortly.
Dimmi quante volte hai ricominciato da capo. Dimmi quante volte hai raccolto il tuo cuore. Lei lo sa, lei lo ha fatto 1000 volte. La donna che sorride con gli occhi pieni di luce, la donna che sorride sa che è davvero più forte del vento, più forte del tempo, più forte di ieri. Sorride ancora e continua a camminare. Le luci sul mare brillano per noi e il vento porta via tutto quello che non serve più. Mi guardi negli occhi come la prima volta e il mondo intorno a noi diventa sempre più lontano. Solo questa notte, solo questa notte, stringimi più forte vicino a me. Solo questa notte, solo questa notte, lascia parlare il cuore.
Guten Morgen, good morning, everybody. Super nice to see you guys here. Apologies for the slightly late start. Waiting for a few more people coming in. 1 second. Quick audio check. I'm going to pick on Stuart. Give me a heads up if the audio is good in London. Good, alrighty. And Philip in room 2, give me a heads up if you can hear the audio good. Yes, excellent. Wonderful, wonderful. So I am very excited today, even though I have a lot of stress right now doing with all the technology stuff, because as usual, I'm tinkering with technology in the last few minutes. But your host today is going to be the one and only Lauralouise Blatt, who is both my boss at home and in our business and my genetic superior. So we are going to be have Lauralouise exclusively here. I'm going to be doing tech behind the scene and try not to mess anything up. And without further ado, I got a few more people I got to let into Zoom room 2, which I will do as soon as I'm done on that. But Lauralouise, if you want to come and join us here, I'm going to give you the podium, give you the stage here.
And good morning.
Alrighty.
Good morning to all you guys that are here on Zoom Live and anybody who's here live stream. We're like super excited to be here, and I thank you for joining us this morning. Mm-hmm. Gosh, it's like coming up to August and the summer, and we've been working. We actually took a very nice vacation, which was amazing for a couple of weeks, and we did work, but we were working from this beautiful yacht, so it wasn't that painful. But we've really been burning the midnight oil on putting together so many new things. And Henrik, who's very humble, doesn't really talk about this kind of stuff that he's bringing to the party every single day, and building like a madman and really converting a lot of the protocols that we put together for our clients for the MVP, which I will tell you about a little bit more today. But it has been really the summer of expansion for us, and for so many people right now that we're seeing that want to build something and grow something and do something dynamic and really change the game. Like, I just feel like this is the time. So today, we're going to spend a little time, if you'll give me the opportunity, because what we've done is so unique, and it's so really pivotal in the world of explosive growth in your business. And for so many years, we've worked one-on-one with clients and in groups, and some of you have been in those groups and done our different programs, our MBA, our Raising Capital Live, our Crushing It courses, our RAMP, and our REAP boot camps. And some of them are 3 days, and some of them are 3 months, and some of them are 6 months. But what we are doing now is it's really just going to change everything. So just waiting for Henrik to let all the people in Zoom room 2, and then we will get started. So I hope you guys are doing great. I hope that you're enjoying your summer. Tell me, is my audio good? Thumbs up if my audio is good. Yes? Okay, great. Thank you. Good to see you, Bob, and Steiner, and Jay, and Stuart. So nice to see you guys. Ruth and Kat and Robbie. So good to see you. All righty. So I know that Henrik is just says he's just up in our technology studio. So we're going to get ready to roll here. But today what I wanted to do is kind of go through a little trajectory. So it's so hard for me to spend 5 minutes and try to explain something. So I thought that I would walk you through some of the things that we do on a regular basis and how it all works, and some of the amazing things that we are building and bringing forth. So if Henrik, if you are ready, I am ready to roll. my amazing husband does my technology, because for me it's hard to like talk about a million things and to be running technology at the same time. So he can do that. He's very, very good at that. So I want to show you a picture. So we're going to pull up a picture. This is Elon Musk, okay? The most ambitious builder of our era. I think that's a pretty undisputed fact. He's sitting alone in the wreckage of his own rocket. Now, this is the man who promised us humans on Mars, crouching in the debris of his latest attempt to get there. And here's what I notice. It's always the quiet hours of drudgery that nobody ever sees and nobody ever knows about. It's really what building looks like after you've been at it long enough to know that you're actually going to get it wrong, and you might get it wrong again. But you're steadfast and tenacious enough to know that in the end, you're going to get it right. Now, not the rocket part, because most of us don't blow up rockets for a living, but you have your own version of this picture. The deal that died, the launch that never landed, you know, the decade that you think about and you think, what the heck happened there? Well, for 35 years on Wall Street, that's what real work looks like. You build something, some days you get a little headway, some days you take a few steps back. So you calculate, you study, you analyze the wreckage, right? You count what it costs you, and then you regroup and you go again. And each time it comes together a little better than the time before. I think that's what real entrepreneurship looks like. The most successful people I've ever backed, their stories look like it went straight up. But sit down with any one of them, get to the bare bones, and they will tell you the same thing. It was persistence. It was perseverance. That's what made the difference. Nothing goes straight up and nothing goes straight down. There are signs along the way. And sometimes the sign is getting it wrong. You know what I mean, right? So you know how to recalculate the path and go forward. It teaches you that lesson. We have a name for that. Constant and never-ending improvement. Truth be told, Tony Robbins handed me that one in 1987, which is the first time I met him. And I've used it ever since. And for the moments that you get it wrong, I have a name for that too. TGIF. Thank God I failed. Because every scar I earned became something I could use and was accretive to my process. That is the one thing 35 years of falling down and getting up taught me. But it's not the deepest one. The thing I do best is see people. I can sense someone's through line, where their real expertise lives, where their passion burns, their zone of genius, long before they see it themselves. I have a gut feeling about it across the table, and it's happened thousands of times. And once you can see the real person, the rest follows. The right client, not is the gateway, but it opens because someone was seen for who they are. The capital always follows the connection, never the other way around. I can tell you that from personal experience and watching it in others over and over again. A while back, I stepped away from the seat and gave my days to founders and builders, entrepreneurs with a dream who needed a hand getting it out of them. What I'm about to walk you through has helped build 7, 8, and 9-figure businesses. And almost every one of us sitting in this room has wreckage of a rocket or two in our past. There is a faster way to recover and to build that rocket that finally takes off. So here's what I'll leave you with today. A clear look at where you got stuck and why it was never your fault, and why the way out is a lot gentler and easier than you think it is. Now, the industry will tell you, because their whole model depends on you not knowing it. You're living in the trinket economy. The internet made information free, and we all see it and use it every day. The business education industry, they kept selling it to you anyway. You know what I'm talking about, a framework, a binder, a course, a $60,000 mastermind. They're now trinkets, every one of them, because what's inside them is actually not scarce anymore. And it's getting worse for them and better for you. Because execution is going the same way information went. The same AI that made information free is making execution cheap. So whether it's funnels or copy or content or code, it gets cheaper every month. Every single day, there's a new mega prompt and a new model promising you a shortcut to 1 million followers and $1 billion net worth. You know what I mean? It's all noise, beautiful, expensive noise. And almost none of it will move you 1 inch. You can find anything now, anywhere, from anyone, and execute it for almost nothing. Yet 3 things are still standing because they were never for sale. Okay, that's your judgment, your identity, and the room that you're in. And this is only half the picture. Here's the whole thing, and I'm going to make it so simple for you that you never forget. 0 multiplied by 100 or 1,000 or 1 million. Guess what?
Laura Louise, the Zoom room had to reset itself, so you got to unmute yourself on the main screen. Let me. All right, Laura Louise, let's hear you. We had to reset that
Okay.
room. There's some big storms around here, but I will mute myself. You
Crazy
continue.
storms that are attacking the United States. All right, well, I could just go back to the gap.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, I was talking about the gap. So we were talking about the gap and why your most important work is still sitting inside of you. Okay. And I got to see this up close and personal because I did sit on the other side of the table as an allocator for decades. And I said no to so many managers, over 5,000, and I funded about 300 managers. And I launched funds from the inside, and I turned quiet, brilliant traders into names this industry came to know. Both sides of the table, thousands of pitches, some of the most capable people truly on the planet, one after the other. And here's the secret of that chair. I was never evaluating their track record. I was evaluating them, people by people. And I'm not telling you this to impress you, because some days I'm still amazed I made it to that table at all. Early in my career, I got so sick, I slept 18-hour days. Years later, the markets fell apart and took down a hedge fund where I was a managing director. I watched it come undone from a hospital bed while I was recovering from surgery, and I lost almost everything I had made. And from that bed, I decided that there was no way on this planet I would fail. True story. I got up and I rebuilt, and I stayed at that table for 35 years. And I tell you because I watched the same heartbreak play out over and over. The most gifted people in the room losing to the exact thing that keeps your rocket on the ground. Here it is. The skills that make you work and the skills that are making your work world class, they're not the same skills that get your work seen. The work itself takes solitude, depth, decades of focus, a thin skin about other people's opinions. True, right? You need to have your creativity and you need to have the courage of your convictions. Systems over relationships. That's what built your business. The nerve to hold your ground while the whole world disagrees with you. That takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of conviction. The problem is getting the work seen and funded Well, that asks for exactly the opposite. Connection, saying it in plain words, reading the person across the table, comfort in a room full of strangers, rejection, self-doubt, and guess what? Relationships over systems. So can you feel the conflict? Every trait that made you world class at the work you created turns against you when it's time to get it seen. The independence that built it makes you allergic to selling it. The depth that gave you your edge makes the small talk that gets you seen feel shallow, so you end up skipping it. The solitude your craft and creativity demands makes putting yourself out there feel uncomfortable and unnatural. That's the gap. And almost nobody names it. The market does not reward the best work. And you've seen this. It rewards the best shown work. The deepest expertise in the room goes home without the check, while someone with 1 million followers who never solved any real problem walks away with a fortune. And you've seen that too. It decides who gets the client, the partner, the audience, not just the capital. So here's my verdict, and I want you to sit with it. You're not behind because you're less. You're behind because you were built for the work and your craft and your special thing, but nobody ever helped you with the rest of it. So take a breath and cut yourself some slack, because we are about to fix it. Now, I know some of you are thinking right now, because I have heard it in every room I've ever taught, the 3 things in particular. So let me share them with you. Here's the first. I've done the courses, the coaches, the mastermind. Some were great, but they all ended. I'm done paying for motivation that wears off and leaves me right back where I started. And guess what? You're 100% right. You should be done. You bought the program, you did the work, you went home with a binder and a head full of momentum. And then 3 weeks later, you lost the momentum. 6 weeks later, you can't remember the frameworks. 3 months later, it's on the shelf with the last program you tried and the one before that. And your life looks the same as it did before you walked into that room, minus thousands of dollars, and somewhere inside of you, something died a little more. Why? The industry calls what they sell you self-help. I call it shelf help because that's where it lives. You didn't fail the program. The model failed you, and right on schedule, because programs end. That's why they fail. The transformation never broke at the knowledge. It broke the day the program ended and you walked out with a binder and nobody to call. So let me show you how we rebuilt our own life and business and recreated our entire ecosystem. We call this Magnum Opus Compass Rose. It begins with Magnum Wealth. And this is where almost all of our clients begin with us, because dreams need funding, companies need a runway, and let's face it, life costs money. But it's also our first home and the one of our deepest areas of expertise, which people have come to us for years. But we learned that you cannot build it in isolation, because it needs an identity to attract, a story to carry it, and the health to sustain it, and a tribe so that you're fulfilled and it keeps you honest. So we built Magnum Health, the Saving 7. That's a 7-day roadmap I built to rebuild your energy, your vitality, and your mental acuity. And this is an area that is near and dear to my heart because I've worked in this for 43 years, building this protocol. The minute your energy is restored and you're firing on all cylinders, everything in your life changes. Your energy, your vitality, a clear mind, this is the fuel for everything you're meant to build. Without it, every day is a struggle, because no empire runs on empty, and you cannot build your magnum opus on a body that quits on you. Then we have Magnum Mindset. Now, your mindset is not one gear among 4, it's the master gear, and the one that turns the other 3, your wealth, your health, and your people. None of them rise higher than the mind that runs them. This is the work almost everyone skips. They chase the tactics and never touch the operator. Rewire the way you think, and everything you have been forcing starts to move forward. You don't have to spend a decade sorting the signals from the noise, though, because we already did it. We studied the masters for over 4 decades in the right rooms over and over again. We took the best, we left the rest, and shaped it into frameworks that you can deploy on a dime in your business and in your life. This is single-handedly the thing that will change everything in the way you show up, because your mindset controls everything. And if you're feeling resistance or you're feeling stuck or stagnated, well, changing your mindset changes that instantly. And last, we have Magnum Nation. Now, this is your community, your tribe, your people. Okay, that might sound like, oh, what does that even mean? This is the people you do it for. This is the people you do it with. This is the people you learn from and the people you grow with. Now, we have paid to sit in the best rooms, the think tanks, the masterminds, and we've come away with real knowledge, but not our people. Magnum Nation is the room that we searched for and never found, so we built it. Because without the right people, the whole thing rings hollow. Neglect it while you build the other three, and the rest fall down with it. You lack fulfillment, you lack the ability to go forward and know why you're doing it and want to do it with the people. These are four integral gears and they overlap, just like in the compass rose, right? They reinforce each other. Remove one and the machine malfunctions. And where all four overlap, in the center sits one piece of work that's yours alone. Now, here's the second thing I hear. A bottle cannot read its own label, and the more you have built, the harder it gets to see yourself. Because decades of competence, of trying and failing and trying again, that ends up burying the real story under a mission statement and a stack of credentials that you have earned. But that's why your bio reads like every other bio. It's not because you have nothing to say. You have a lifetime of it. You're just too close to see it. What feels ordinary to you because you lived it is the very thing that would make you unforgettable to everyone else. Your identity is not something you create. It's something you extract. And the fake it till you make it crowd has been handing you the wrong advice because they want you to hide the broken parts and present the shiny version. Funny enough, people don't want the shiny version. They want all the scars. They want the broken parts. The Japanese have a better idea. My husband Anrik has been to Japan hundreds of times, and he brought home something that changed how I see failure. It's called kintsugi. When a bowl, a cup, a vase breaks, they mend it with gold. The mended bowl becomes a work of art, worth hundreds of times the one that never broke, because the cracks are the proof that it survived. Your scars are not what you hide to do the work. They are what the work is made of. They are what everything that comes after is made of. The years behind you cracked you in the right places, and those cracks are the very things that multiply 1,000 times over. The more you hide them, the harder you struggle. That's the irony. But be careful who you let speak into your microphones. Think about this. When Elon Musk first pitched SpaceX, his hero was Neil Armstrong, and he trashed the idea in public. The man who walked on the moon told the man who wanted to reach Mars he was an idiot. And Elon was really shaken and disturbed by that. But guess what? He kept going. Today, there are thousands of brand new millionaires, welders, machinists, technicians, and engineers walking the floors of SpaceX because one man, after his idol said, "No, you're an idiot," he decided to keep going anyway. Now, all of us have our own Armstrong. The mentors who said it wouldn't work, the spouse, the friends, the family who said you were too old, too young, too green, not qualified. The board that told you to stick to what worked the first time. The hero who called your dream science fiction. The funny thing is, you believe them more than you believe the work inside of you. I can't understand why it is that we believe our doubts, yet we doubt our beliefs. And here's what really breaks my heart. That is why it's still inside of you. Caged, not listed on an exchange, not up on a billboard, still in there waiting. Because someone you trusted spoke louder than the truth you were born with. So we built a set of instruments to draw that identity out of you. We call it Ignis, our Identity Extraction Protocol. The name is inspired by
Lauralouise, your audio just went dead again for some reason. Let me check why that happened. That could be me, 1 second, messing with the technology. Do you see on the right-hand screen, there's the mute buttons on your microphones? Ah, she needs glasses. You can tell our tech team is on vacation. You see the bottom left button of your Stream Deck has the mute button, mute, unmute, and mute. Stream Deck right in front of the keyboard.
Is that better?
There we
Is
go,
that
you're
better?
back. Yeah, you're back.
I'm going to get better at this technology if it kills me.
No, that's an auto setting that does when I press a button on something, and that's not your fault, it's mine.
Okay, so did you guys hear about Ignis? I'm not sure so I was talking about Ignis, and we call it Ignis, that's our identity extraction protocol. And that has 7 core zones, each explored 5 layers deep until it reaches the truth of who you are and what drives you. It's one conversation. It brings forth 10 finished pieces of work in your own voice. Now, when I sat for my own interview, I was literally moved to tears. It gets so deep into things that you haven't thought about in such a long time. And it really uncovers so many things that we've parked. We've, kind of parked in the past and forgotten about. When Anrik sat for his interview, one 45-minute conversation pulled out 17,181 words, every one his own. You just talk with your Ignis and it does the writing. Now, the thing I promised to help you name, okay? So I want you to picture this. It's a Venn diagram with 4 circles that overlap. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Now, all of these, where all 4 overlap in the middle, there's a Japanese word for it. It's called ikigai, your purpose. Now, most of us fell into our careers by accident, by circumstances, or by other people. Few of us ever reach this age and stop to ask, is this the life that I actually wanted? So what I say is, let's design it. Let's stop letting other people decide who we are and what our destiny should be. Now, I want you to look at the center of this diagram. We have a more direct name for what sits there. We call it your magnum opus. It sits in the middle and it's unbuilt. And no, it doesn't mean you only get to have one in your lifetime. You can have many, but it's really, you have been calling it the thing, the project, the someday. It has a real name now. It's your magnum opus. And I think it's high time that you ship it, right? So this is something that I have spent so much time in, because after meeting with so many entrepreneurs and seeing where their passion sits and what they want and all their unfinished thoughts and ideas and creativity, and thinking that they're running out of time or it's too late, or I don't know, people won't take me seriously for this. Whatever it is, if it's a pivot to your business, if it's an expansion to your business, if it's, your next business, this is the magnum opus. And if it's something that's been knocking at your heart and keeps coming up over and over again, it's been caged by you. And it's just time to let it out. Because that's where all the fulfillment is. That's where all the joy. And by the way, that's where all the success is. Because that's where you naturally will excel. Okay, secret number 3. And here's the last secret. Is the practical one, and it answers a real frustration. And you might put it like this. Say I get my identity right and I have to get in front of the right people, but I failed at that. And I've tried the marketers. I've tried the tactics. I've spent real money. And all the noise, my right people still aren't finding me. And you know what? You're right about all of it. And now you know why. Because 0 times 100, you guessed it, it's still 0. Call it what you want. 0 impact, 0 connection, 0 attraction. It doesn't matter which one. You can do all the work in the world. You can build something amazing, but if 0 people see it, If 0 people resonate with it, 100 times 0 is still 0. Here's the piece almost nobody learns. You have 2 businesses, and you've only built one. Business A, that's the work that lights you up, the firm, the fun, the invention, the craft you trained your whole life for, your magnum opus, now that we've named it. But business B, that's the business that actually feeds business A. The attention, the capital, the clients, the funding, the partners, the fuel. You're building business A with everything you have, and you don't understand why nobody's appreciating it. You don't understand why you're not getting traction. You don't understand why it's not 10x what it is right now. Just because you never built business B at all. And the order you build it in is the whole secret. Your identity first. That's Ignis. It draws the real you out of hiding, the authentic identity buried under all your competence, your scars, your genius, your story, in your words. And it comes first because your story and your systems are built on it. Without it, there's nothing to build on. Story second, the origin, your method, your edge, written down in a structure that compounds. It's how a stranger comes to know you and trust you before you ever meet. That's really great for time management, right? If you know that you can get with somebody who is actually on board with you before you ever meet them. Now, once it's on the page in your voice, it works for you while you sleep. Okay, that's what systems are. The funnels, the engine, the AI that carries your vision and your identity out into the world. This is the vehicle that puts your right fit person in front of you. What they see is your authentic identity in your voice. It works around the clock, even when you sleep. Identity, story, systems. Get the order right and you stop multiplying 0. Get the order right and every multiplier on earth begins to compound the real you. There are people on their knees right now praying for someone like you to walk into their life. If you get the order right, they can find you. And if they don't, you just end up being this untapped resource that many people need. How do I know? I learned the order the hard way too. For years, I led with the numbers and the systems. The way the whole street taught me to. I mean, it's basically what everyone shows you to do. And I watch the most brilliant people around me do the same thing and wonder why the capital kept going somewhere else. The day I got the order right is the same day the grinding stopped and the compounding started. And I can remember it distinctly. I remember the day that I just let my authentic self emerge. And frankly, it was just because I got exhausted by just trying to be on all the time, to be this perfectly curated human who had the right answers and said the right things. What I didn't realize is I was far more interesting just being my authentic self. And people, it resonated with people and they remembered me, not for a minute or a month or a year. I have people that remember stories from 20 years ago and they bring them up when they see me or they're in touch with me. This took me years to learn, and you can take it home in the next 30 minutes. See, the capital was always there. The clients were always there. The partners were always there. It was never about the deck, and it was never about the track record. It was never about the credentials. It was about the people. Capital finds its way to the deepest relationships and to imperfect people with true stories to tell. Track record gets the meeting. Character makes you memorable, and connection before capital gets you the check, the client, and the outcomes you're looking for. And the rarest, hardest thing to find in this whole industry is you. I mean, it sounds funny, but it's true because we're all hiding ourselves under credentials and sound bites and performance and protocols and process. Okay, so I have a little audit for you. 2 minutes, 3 questions. Super easy. Score yourself 0 to 10 on each one. Be honest. Nobody's going to see this but you. Whatever you write down measures the gap between business A and business B. This is not a verdict. It's a diagnosis of what comes next. Okay? Question 1 is on identity. Can a stranger read one paragraph and know who you are. Not your bio, not your title, the real you in your own words. Okay, score yourself on that. Okay, question 2, story. This is on story. Is your actual story written down? Your real story, not your resume, in your own voice, where you came from, your turning point, what makes you different? Is that story written down? Not something curated, something that's in your voice, your lexicon, your vocabulary, with your real experiences. And question 3 is on systems. Do you have a system that brings the right people to you without you chasing them? Possibility is 30 points. If you scored 20 or under, you have not built business B yet. And by the way, this is not failure. This is a diagnosis. And the good news is that it's fixable. Now, before I show you the machine we built, let me name why you were in this room with me today. Maybe you're worn down and the business you built to set you free has started running your life instead. This happens often, right? We build a business to enhance our life, but our life ends up serving our business. Or maybe you're carrying a purpose that you have not brought to life yet, that thing that's caged inside you, right? And what you're missing is the right person to build it with, or the right ideas, or the right tools. Either way, you're in the right place. You could take all of that and run with it. Everything that I've just gone through right now, no hard feelings. You have spent your time with me, and I know that your time is your most valuable commodity. So I hope that I've repaid it 100 times over. But before you go, let me show the machine that we built, because I know what happens when people just try to fit this into their daily schedule of running their business. We built something called MVP. At the center is the one thing you came here to build, your magnum opus. Around it turns the 4 gears of your life: wealth, health, mindset, and nation. When all 4 move together, the work at the center gets built. When one stalls, so does everything else. Around those gears sit 8 instruments, each one built to pull your work out of you and put it in front of the world. What matters is what these instruments do for you. They take your scars, the visions, the dreams that you have kept inside, and they put them where the world can see them at last. Around those, there's 4 corners: the tools, the programs, the library, and the events. Every program we've ever built and sold, the ones that people paid $8,000 to $12,000 for, sits in it, is now yours inside of chapters. You are not buying a course. You are inheriting a body of work. Now, none of it spins on its own. It needs a conductor, something that knows which gear you should be turning this week so you don't have to think about it. That's Oro. That's the advisor awake at 3 a.m. when the real questions show up. He knows who you are, he knows what you are building, and what you need to hit this week. We trained him on everything we know, so he never hands you a library to dig through. He hands you your next step. So whether you're with us or outside, or it's 3 a.m. or you're traveling, you know where you stand and you know what comes next. And here's the part that changes everything, the part where the weight lifts off your shoulders. You're not building any of this by yourself. Everyone else sells you a course on how to build your own AI. They send you home to figure it out. We do the opposite. We hand you a vehicle already built. You do not build the car. You just get in and drive it straight towards your business. We handle all the machinery. We built 153 protocols in our business that we've taught, our whole method to our private clients. Then Anrik built all 153 of our own AI into this program, the MVP. It's completely proprietary to us. It's part of our IP, and no one else can replicate it. and it's completely secure. Doesn't go up to some cloud where everyone can see it. Your part is the interview. You show up, you answer, and the engine draws out your authentic voice, your stories, your purpose, your vision, and he builds the rest from there. What used to take months, it does in minutes. And you are always in the driver's seat, which is the most important thing. Now, this is what none of those programs and events ever had. They handed you protocols and sent you home to build it all by yourself and hope that you got it right. Now the AI does the heavy building the right way from what you bring it. That's the big difference. And the AI is only half of it. Here's the other half, the part no graphic can show you, because it's not a feature. You're not doing this alone. You are not handed off, to someone on our team. You will never wonder if you're doing it right. You get Anrik and me live in the room with you. 3 sessions a month, every month, 36 a year. We work on your business with you, someone to think it through with, someone to pitch to, who tells you the truth, someone who shows up. This used to be our private consulting, and we used to charge $2,750 for a 90-minute session. Now it comes with the Magnum Vault, and it's only for MVP members. It's the live room where our members work alongside of us. We're not going to hand you a paddle and wave from the shore. How's it going out there? We're getting in the boat with you, and we'll help you to row to where you want to go. 8 gears, 4 corners, 1 conductor, 1 room, all of it pulling in one direction, your magnum opus, because the identity at the center has to be yours. It has to be your voice, your scars, your lexicon, your vocabulary, your stories, your vision, your zone of genius. And this is why it goes so wrong with so many. Now, I told you at the start, I would make you an invitation nobody in this industry makes. So here it is. We said no more courses, and we meant it. This isn't a course, and it's not a program. Programs are the model that failed. They end, this one doesn't. Now, before I tell you the price, do something for me. Put a number on yourself first. If all I did was draw out the real you, buried under all that competence, and put together your real brand, the person that you can actually go out and light up the world with, what would that be worth? And if all I did was get your life's work built at last, instead of dying inside of you in the cage, what would that be worth? Now, whatever number you landed on, hold it. And let me lay out everything that comes through the door so your number has something real to sit against. Now, you get, the MVP includes the whole Magnum Vault, every program we've ever built and sold, the ones that people paid $8,000 to $12,000 each to sit in. Now yours inside as chapters you can open at any time, available to you 24/7. You get the 8 instruments powered by our own AI. These are the interviews that build everything that will create anything that you need. I told you there were 8, but here they are by name. So Ignis, which I went through earlier, is the identity extraction protocol to draw out who you really are. Then we have the zone of genius amplifier. Make sure that you're focused on what your real zone of genius is. The authentic character flywheel is next, and the right fit client super tool. This makes sure that everything that you do is woven in your authentic voice, in your authentic character, not something that you're just thinking on the fly, but literally everything that you produce has the blueprint of your authentic self. And your right fit client super tool helps to point you to who your actual right fit client is. The Magnum Maven Matrix is next, and that positions you as the authority in your field. The Ikigai synthesizer went through earlier, right? That's what you love, what the world needs, what you're good at, and what you can get paid for. The overlap of that, we call that the Magnum Opus. Then there's the Magnanimous Protocol. That's your discipline engine to show you how to show up and execute every day. Okay, that is so necessary, right? Because you can have all this stuff, all these things, but you don't know, well, what do I do to show up? How do I execute this? How do I stay on track? Then the Opus Citadel, your onboarding into your Magnum Opus to get ready to build it. And then finally, and seriously, one of my favorite, the Magnum Opus planning system. because that keeps your momentum alive and gets you moving closer every single day. I say this all the time. You do 1% a day. That's in the first month, you're not at 25%, right? You're exponentially compounding because you're doing it with consistency and congruency every single day. The Magnum Opus planning system gets you there. And we've created a system that we created for ourselves because we felt the overwhelm. We felt the, stress of trying to do it all at once and keep things in line, knowing what we had to build. And I said, there has to be a better way. And so we started studying. We studied over 100 different planning systems, and we couldn't find one that fit us, so we built our own. And it's not just a planning system. It is planning your magnum opus. So it's focused on getting you your outcomes. Now, you also get Oro, the advisor awake at 3 a.m, who hands you your next step so you never have to wander around MVP and guess what's next. It will tell you what's next and it'll tell you what to do. And you get the live room, 3 sessions a month with Anrik and me, live 36 times a year. These are consulting sessions that we use to sell to our private clients. Now, the only way to get them is inside the Magnum Vault as an MVP member. So here's what it costs spoken straight, because you have earned straight. The private door, one-on-one with us per month is $30,000 with a 3-month minimum. A handful of people walk through that, and we love our private clients. But it's not for everyone. And usually those people have very, very large businesses and just want that one-on-one time. The standard rate for the MVP for the annual cost is $25,000 a year. That is where this is headed. But the door in front of you today is our Founding 50. The Founding 50 membership is $8,888 for 1 year, or $888 a month. Locked for life. Your price never rises no matter how big the Magnum Vault grows. And just to give you an idea, the Magnum Vault grows every single week. We add new protocols. We think of new things we want built. We want them built for ourselves, and we give it to you every week. Now, put a number on next to that. One of these programs on its own used to cost $8,000 to $12,000. That is the price of your entire year, and that gives you every one of them. But the programs are not even the tip of the iceberg. The real value is in your proprietary AI, because it builds your AI brain, and that is included. So here's what the year looks like on the other side of that door, 12 months from now. Your identity sits on a page you control in your voice. Your story works while you sleep. Your own AI brain, built from all your interviews, writes whatever your business needs in your voice. That includes your PR and marketing, your social media, client and partner newsletters, webinars, speeches, even a TED Talk. Just about anything you have to create. The work that used to take you weeks now takes minutes. That's time and energy coming back to you. You're no longer chasing anyone when you show up. The right people are already drawn to you because you can see exactly who they are, and they know exactly who you are. And that thing that has been trapped inside you with a promise to yourself that you'll build someday, now it has a name, a shape, and a ship date. That's what this buys, not access, a different future. And here's the part that makes us strange in this industry. There is no buy button here. The way in is a conversation with us, because I can't possibly explain everything that this incredible program does. 30 minutes with us, no script, no pressure, no chasing you afterwards. You risk nothing to find out if this is right for you. If we are right for each other, you will feel it, and so will I. And if we're not, I'll tell you with respect and help you find where you belong. Now, I'm not going to put a false clock on this because I don't believe in them, but I will be honest. There are only 50 seats in this price. Once they're filled, the only way in is $25,000 a year. And we won't be offering all the conversations forever. It's something, if something that I've said is, you thought you were leaning into, that's worth acting on now, not someday, then this is the conversation that you should have. So here's what I'm asking you to do right now. The link is in the chat. Click it and book your conversation. Not someday, today, while the door is open and the founding price is still yours to claim. Before you book it, sit with 3 questions and take them slow because they matter. What do you want? What do you really want? Why do you want it? And what is in the way? Those are so important. And if we're honest, those questions are real soul searchers. Now, a few more things that some of you are thinking, so let me say it out loud. You said no more programs, and now you're selling me one. Now, you're right to notice, but this is not a program. Programs end, and that's why they failed you. This one does not end. It is the beginning. Now, some of you have already done RAMP or REAP or the MBA or Crushing It. You did, and those were events, so they ended. Every one of them lives inside the Magnum Vault now, and the information is always there for you, and we stand by that information. But we have built far more since, a full 10 times more in protocols, in information, and in access, and in how fast you can put it all to work. None of it existed back then. That's the difference. And it's a big difference. It changes everything. You can wake up in the morning and say, I wanted to work on this project and I'm not sure what to do. And you can go to Oro and say, I need to work on this. What should I deploy within MVP to help me write this? And it will. As long as you've done your interviews, that's the only thing that is separating you from your work. The Magnum Vault is enormous and it's overwhelming. And I'll never use all of it. Some people say that. And it is. It's enormous. And it can be overwhelming. But you don't have to use all of it. You will never wander around it like a library searching for what matters. There's a trajectory and a roadmap. So you don't have to figure it all out. You start with Ignis, which draws out your identity. Then Oro looks at where you are right now and hands you the next step, one at a time, a prescription, not a pile. And you're not doing it alone. 3 times a month, you're in a room with Anrik and me, and we make sure that you are getting it right, staying on track, and making progress. Understand this. You have seen the 8 instruments, and you know their names, because I shared them with you. But what you have not done is sit in front of them. Each one is a conversation that goes deep into who you are, and not one of them has been run for you yet. That's where the next conversation begins. And if you have a hesitation I didn't name, please bring it to the conversation. The phrase that we use in this house is tell me more. We want the real version. We want to know what is holding you back. We want to know what challenges you have. And if today is not your day, that's a real decision too, and I respect it. But take this with you. Build your identity first, then your story, then your systems, in that order. And then go build the work that only you can build. Because either way, you are not the same person who logged in an hour ago. The thing you've been carrying has a name now. And you know the arithmetic. So stop multiplying by 0. You were made for more than a life spent hiding your best work. Don't let your magnum opus die of loneliness inside you. So grab the link, and I hope to see you in the Magnum Vault, and always I'm wishing you guys life and business on your terms. It is my through line for everyone I work with. It is my through line for my own life. And it is the thing that brings us joy when we work in that place where it's on our terms, where it's, what we've been the architect of. That's what changes the game. And, I know you probably have questions. There's so much more to ask. Sign up for the 30 minutes and let's vet them and let us show you, because it's just impossible to go through all of this. But I will tell you, this is a game changer. And as a researcher and a studier and a person who sat in the rooms with literally the household name influencers for the last 40 years, I've never seen anything that does what this does. Because doing it one-on-one, well, that's a heavy lift. And when you have to do it all yourself, that's a heavy lift. But when you start doing these interviews and you speak in your own voice and you're authentic and you're emotional and you tell the truth to yourself, right? That changes everything. Now, you can get a full tour at magnumvault.com/MVP. So if you'd like to see more before you sign up for the call, magnumvault.com/MVP. We'd love to have you explore it. There's so much to see. We are just starting with this. We're just getting it out there. As I said, last year, we were still working with our teams, and we love the groups. We love serving through RAMP and REAP and the MVP and the MBA. But this just literally takes months into minutes. I can honestly say you can get rid of your PR, your marketing. It can help you build everything that you need to build, and it can help you clarify your right fit client. So often we say, well, anyone could use this. It would be great for so many people. Getting that dot alone and then having the messaging towards that dot is so valuable, and it just brings exponential growth. So we can open for a Q&A. I'd love to do that. Maybe Anrik will come down and join me for Q&A. As the architect of the AI, he's quite brilliant. Obviously, all of the protocols we've built together, and there are proprietary protocols, so they're built into everything. But I would be very happy. So if you want to just raise your hand, if you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it.